Hi, I'm Paige, and I'm a student at the conservatory here at UC.
And I'm Matt, and I'm also a student at the conservatory here at UC. If you're a student or parent, this video will provide you insight into the general requirements for Ohio residency affecting tuition here at UC.
To start, your initial classification as an Ohio resident or an out-of-state resident is determined from information you provided on your admissions application. If you're classified as a non-resident student upon admission, you might be eligible to change your classification to Ohio resident over the next 12 months.
It's your responsibility to check your residency status. Your student bill, located in the Catalyst student portal, will indicate whether you're being charged as a resident or have a non-resident surcharge.
It's important to know that eligibility for Ohio residency is established by State of Ohio law and Ohio Department of Higher Education regulations. Residency eligibility is not defined by University of Cincinnati policy.
Under Ohio law, an eligible student is a person who maintains a 12-month place of residence in Ohio, who is qualified to vote in Ohio, and who may be subject to Ohio tax liability. Ohio's law also specifies that no person can establish a domicile in Ohio for the sole purpose of attending an Ohio institution of higher learning. So, when reviewing Ohio residency applications, the registrar's staff will ask themselves, if UC were not here, would you still have moved to Ohio and still have made Ohio your fixed and permanent home?
There are two components to Ohio domicile. The first is your physical presence in Ohio. The second is your intent to make Ohio your permanent home. Let's take a look at what physical presence and intent really mean.
Physical presence is the actual place where a person has established permanent legal residence. It can be evidenced with lease agreements or home ownership documents. You must live in Ohio for 12 continuous months prior to the first day of classes for the term in which you are applying. And you must have maintained your Ohio domicile even if you weren't enrolled for a semester or school wasn't in session for part of those 12 months. Your permanent address should be listed on all personal legal documents such as tax forms, bank statements, and in Catalyst.
Your intent to be a permanent resident of Ohio is supported by the absence of legal ties to your former state of residence. You must sever all ties with your former state 12 months prior to the first day of classes for the semester in which you are applying. If this step is delayed, the start of your one-year domicile period may be delayed as well. Various legal ties are used to establish intent. These include permanent full-time off-campus employment, having Ohio state tax withheld from your wages, payment of Ohio state income tax, Ohio vehicle registration, an Ohio driver's license or valid ID, and registering to vote in Ohio.
Some of these ties are required. For example, if you have moved to Ohio and operate a motor vehicle, the Ohio Department of Motor Vehicles requires that the vehicle be registered in Ohio even if it is owned by a parent who lives in another state.
The state of Ohio also requires that residents obtain an Ohio's driver's license or state ID within 30 days of relocating.
Keep in mind that you cannot establish domicile by merely taking the previously mentioned actions. Let's talk about additional eligibility requirements. To be considered for Ohio residency, you must also be financially independent. This means you must be 100% financially independent from parents or family who are not themselves Ohio residents.
Evidence that you are receiving out-of-state financial support in any way, either directly, like tuition payments and Parent Plus loans, or indirectly, like parent-controlled financial portfolios and co-owned bank accounts, will disqualify you from Ohio residency.
In addition, you can't be claimed as a dependent on your parent or family's taxes.
Some people may be exempt from some of the requirements we've described so far. Legal dependents of Ohio residents, Ohio high school graduates, military service members, and, under certain conditions, those relocated to Ohio for employment.
Students who are not U.S. citizens may also be eligible for Ohio residency, under specific circumstances. Go to the website on your screen for more information.
There is no one set of criteria that is applied to every individual. There may be other factors that are unique to you that demonstrate your intent to make Ohio your permanent home. It's up to you to document those unique circumstances.
Again, your intent to make Ohio your fixed and permanent home is a key part in establishing domicile. Changes in residency classification are not automatic. You must apply. Your application must be completely filled out and submitted with all the required documentation to the registrar's office by the published deadline. Application deadlines and list of required documents can be found on the website.
We hope this video gave you some insight into the residency application process here at UC. Remember, the website is the best place for everything you need to know. But if you still have questions after reviewing the website, please feel free to email us.
Have a great semester at UC.
And go Bearcats!